We're filming a how-to video for everybody that wants to make a whole lot of burritos. First things first, you've got to know how to calculate the amounts you need. So for this outreach, we're planning to make 700 burritos. And so each burrito is going to use a 1/4 pound of beans. End result will be a 1/3 pound burrito by the time we add cheese and sauce and the weight of the tortillas. So quick math, beans will triple in weight when you make refried beans. So we're going to start out with 60 pounds of beans. We really need 58.33 pounds for a total cooked weight of about 175 pounds to reach our 700 burritos. So this is where we start. First step, let's talk about equipment first things first. We'll get to see some of this stuff tomorrow morning when we start cooking. So this is the night before, and we're getting ready to sort through all of the beans. We've got to pull all of the rocks out, all of the bad beans. This is Ted's specialty.
Bean sorter.
Bean sorter extraordinaire. Okay, so tomorrow morning, after everything's cooked, obviously you need a lot of pots and pans. We use some big ones. For the soaking of the beans, we use food grade plastic buckets. They've got to be, and I'm clumsy. Where's the label? Anyway, they've got to be the chemical-free versions that are safe for food use. For making them into refried beans after they've been cooked, we use a stainless steel paint mixer on a brand new drill. This drill was bought at Harbor Freight for like $13, and it's only used for this purpose. And we'll see that in practice tomorrow morning. So anyway, sorting beans. Let's crack them open. Let's crack this open. We'll start with the black beans. Also note, the black beans and the pinto beans should be cooked separate. Black beans take a slightly longer time to cook than the pinto beans.
Your knife?
I'm just struggling here. I know people are going to watch this. So we use colanders. We'll set up here, and I'll go over to the camera here in a second. Film. How we do this. This is going to be step by step. Come on, there we go. Alrighty. Show us how it's done, Ted.
Alright. Basically, you just look at all the beans individually and see if there's any rocks or if there's any imperfections or anything that you wouldn't want to eat yourself. And if there's not, pour them into the bucket. So on and so forth. Usually with the black beans, we don't really find a lot of rocks. We find a lot of corn or other vegetables that kind of get mixed in. But other than that, you just go through it.
So we're looking for rocks.
Rocks. Or sometimes dirt clods or things that would potentially...
What is that?
It's either a bean without a husk or... I'm not sure.
So the last thing we need is to break somebody's tooth with a rock that we've missed. So it's very critical that we go through these and that we're very thorough.
Correct.
Alright, this is the first stage.
So this is an example of some of the beans and some of the things that we pulled out of the beans that we sorted. We did about 45 pounds of dried beans. You'll notice soybeans, you'll notice rocks. So again, we definitely don't want someone biting into a burrito and breaking their tooth. Some discolored, some misshapen, some just things that we wouldn't normally want to eat ourselves.
Well,
You okay?
I zoomed in on your armpit.
Oh, well,
Okay.
not a lot there to see. And then one of the other things that we found in our year of making bean and cheese burritos is we have done 2/3 pinto beans to 1/3 black bean consistency. And when you mix those two together, we find that that tastes very, very delicious.
We're rolling.
Okay. We are going to be adding some baking soda to the beans while they soak to get rid of the foam as well as to help with the gaseous byproduct of said beans.
Okay. You didn't snuff any of it up. So,
All right, just to summarize, the beans, they've now been sorted. We pulled out the rocks and other foreign matter. The beans are now going to soak overnight. We'll be up early in the morning to get these things cooked prior to our kitchen crew showing up to make the burritos.
I think it'd be funny.
I think you should snort some, dude.
You ready?
Okay.
All right, what are you doing, Ted?
I am putting water in the beans, and we are letting them soak overnight so that we also added the baking soda, so hopefully they won't be as foamy. And we're going to let them soak overnight, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the rest of the process.
All right, now the beans have been soaking at this point for about 6 hours. We put them up to soak last night and went to bed for a little bit. The first bunch is already cooking, as you can see. The baking soda that we told you to add last night, make sure that it's only in the rinse water. So in the soap water, you've got to rinse. I'm tired.
Nice.
You've got to rinse these off. So you'll drain the soap water. You're going to rinse them and add fresh water. Now, it's important to note that when you put the beans to soak, they're going to increase in volume. They're going to roughly double. So make sure that you're leaving space in your pot or your bucket, whatever you're soaking in, for those things for them to grow. When we did this our first time, the beans kept growing and overflowing, and we were scooping them into new pots, and we were panicking and running to the neighbors, borrowing pots and pans. We didn't have pots and pans. We didn't have buckets. We had no idea really what we were doing. So we've learned, make sure you're accounting for that increase in volume. When you put them in the pan, they're going to grow about another third. So make sure you're leaving space. You want to be very vigilant. Don't leave them unsupervised. You're going to get this stuff here, bean foam. And a boil over of bean foam isn't fun. I had one this morning when I turned away for a little while, and I had a big mess to clean up. So we want to make sure we stay on top of that. Is there anything, Ted, can you think of anything that I'm not getting on this at this stage?
Not yet. One of the things that we did when we started cooking the beans was we put the bricks in the oven to start staying warm, so we can actually put those inside the coolers to keep the burritos warm. So we took a bunch of bricks and wrapped them in tin foil to retain heat, and then put them in the oven.
Yeah.
So that when you put the burritos in afterwards into the coolers, they'll retain the heat, and we can actually hand out a fairly warm, sometimes hot, bean and cheese burrito.
Yes, so the temperature, we've only got it at about 225. If you get too much hotter than that, you're gonna melt the plastic inside the coolers. So once they're rolled, and you'll see this,
which we've also done.
Yeah, also melt at the bottom of the coolers by getting the bricks too hot. All right, now it's time. The beans are cooked. It's time to make them refried. As Ted mentioned earlier, we do a 1/3 to 2/3 black bean to pinto bean ratio. So 1/3 black bean, 2/3 pinto. Everybody that we provide food for says that's the best recipe. If you're making the refried beans, you also need to have the proper amount of liquid. So some of the bean water from cooking them, you need to keep it in there, and you need to monitor that. If they're too thick, you're not going to be able to mix them up, and when you make the burrito, they'll just turn into a brick. If they're too loose, they just run all over, and the burritos won't carry well in the backpack, and they'll burst out at the ends. Okay. in our recipe,
Ow! Son of a-
camera's on, don't swear.
I didn't swear. I just accidentally touched the metal.
Alright, chili powder. We use chili powder. This is a bit hotter than usual, so I'm not going to use as much as I usually do. And garlic salt. Now I need a little bit of vegetable oil. Vegetable oil helps keep the beans from caking and turning solid as well, and just makes them a little. It improves the mouthfeel. So you only want to go, on a 5-gallon bucket, you only want to go maybe quarter to half a cup, not very much. Okay, now as I mentioned before, this is our paint mixer on the electric drill. I don't know if you can see this. Ted, do you want to pick the camera and aim it down here so you can get an idea of what this looks like? I can't see, so
Hold on. How do I adjust? Oh,
there
okay.
you go.
Can I zoom
Yeah, can you see?
in? Can I zoom in?
Yeah, you can zoom
Where's
in.
the zoom?
Right there, your finger's on it. Good. And I'll reverse this a couple times to make sure that, see now this consistency is looking a bit loose. There's a bit too much water in it. So here in just a moment, I'm going to add a little bit more beans.
You
No,
can't
I-
smell this, but it smells delicious.
Now I like to leave a little bit of some whole beans in there, so we don't want to turn it into just slop. You want to leave so there's a little bit of a texture to it. And always keep spoons. The best way to know that it tastes good is to taste it. So always keep a handful of spoons next to you for sampling as you go, because you want to taste it. And that's just right. Just right.
And it smells good too.
So here's the first batch of beans are ready. Volunteers should be here in 15 minutes, and we'll walk you through the assembly line process. Okay, bean making 101 once again. I forgot to include a tip earlier. When you're running this drill, make sure that you're not pulling this up close to the top, or you're going to splatter everywhere. That's why I'm wearing this apron. Also on the shaft of this, beans will start to collect on that and they'll spin out. So you've got to be kind of mindful, keep a washer right close, keep that clean. This is how we manufacture the burritos. These are the beans that were made in the other room. We add them into the bowls. We've got a little process, so we have a kitchen runner that I'll man the kitchen, keep the beans going. So we're cooking beans as this happens, as volunteers are in here making the beans, and we'll have a kitchen runner that keeps everybody stocked up on supplies. When we're rolling, we're making a burrito about every 5 seconds when the whole crew's rolling. So the beans go on the tortilla. You want to place them on this corner over here. You'll see why here in just a moment. So we'll have a person here at this set. One person is responsible for tearing the foil. When they get caught up, we'll have a person that assists with that, and they throw the tortilla on the foil. So we'll have a station right here. The next person will throw the beans on. The next person in the line will give it cheese. And we'll slide down the line. The next person will give them sauce. The final person in the process will roll them. So this is the reason that that everything was placed here on this side. You want to fold them over
and across, then you can grab that corner and pull it back. Hold them like this. And it's important that you roll them pretty tight so that they can hold up to transport in a backpack. So we'll do that one more time. We've got the beans are on here. Cheese, green sauce.
And it's important to roll the foil in before you roll it totally on itself.
Yes, don't get that foil tucked in
Right.
here, because then somebody's biting foil. So
And
it's
then also to
important-
roll the corners of the foil in over the burrito, because when we put them in the oven, if it's not tight, and if it's not, then the outsides of the tortilla shell can get really crispy or it can leak.
So I'm doing this at about twice or longer than it normally takes. Usually we whip through this pretty quick. And as your team gets practice up, you'll get really, really fast at this and pretty efficient. So from here, the finished burritos, actually, let's wait on this. And here is our assembly line in process. Everybody smile, say hi.
Really? Hi, frijoles? Come on, really? Queso even?
Queso.
Queso what?
Anyway. Quesadilla.
Queso, there it was. Make
So-
a burrito.
This is how easy this is. Who is here for your first time? Raise of hands. Without breaking my light. Okay, that's how easy this is.
And I'm a caveman.
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
Thank you.
Yeah.